Absolutely. So I am Tara Dukart. My husband, Joshua Dukart, is doing stuff for the ranch. We raise grass-fed, grass-finished beef, regeneratively raised here on Seek First Ranch, and he actually has a beef delivery today. So that is where he is. He's on his way home. But he and I, like I said, we own and operate Seek First Ranch. Our website is seekfirstranch.com. We welcome you there. There's lots of things to check out. Regardless of what your background is or what you're interested in, we have a blog. We do sell grass-fed, grass-finished meats to local customers. We also serve people nationally and internationally through some different services. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. But one of those things is our Regenerate retreats, and something else is our Win Warriors accountability team and some elite performance coaching. Essentially, Joshua and I fully believe that we practice what we preach. We are willing to be open and honest and transparent and vulnerable. And that goes with everything across the board. So we really feel called to be open and transparent and vulnerable. If you really want me to, I will turn my screen around and you will see piles of laundry baskets beside me and piles of others. So to the left and to the right. All right. So don't think too much behind this facade. Like there is definitely clutter here. So we're ready. We're excited to dive in. I did want to say too, this is interactive. So I'm going to invite some of you to write some things down in the chat. I also will invite you to take some notes. So if you've got some paper handy, or if you want to go grab some paper, that would be great. Throughout this, I know and I appreciate you're muted if you've got background noise happening, but if there is a time for question answer or throughout this, we'll just kind of navigate. I know we've got, and I've been letting people in. I didn't know if I was supposed to or not, but it
Yep,
gives me
please
the
do.
option to do that. So awesome. So I know that there's well over 100 of you here live, and I just want to stop and say that means so much to me and is a testament to Jared and his team and just you giving your time is such a blessing. We know your time is precious. So thank you for being here, all of you live. Thank you to those of you who are going to be watching the recording. We're going to dive right in because your time is precious, right?
Sounds good.
All right. So the topic, what we wanted to discuss with you today, or what we wanted to reveal to you, is the profit equation that exposes what is really holding you back. And this is both personally and professionally. So again, the profit equation that exposes what is really holding you back. And Joshua and I, if you're like us, you're running your business, if you've got a family that you're raising, whatever that looks like for you, whatever capacity, life just gets busy and it can feel overwhelming sometimes, right? And so I think Joshua and I are constantly challenging ourselves to build resiliency for not only our landscape, but also our livestock. But more importantly, we really want to build resiliency for ourselves as children of God, in our marriage, if you're married, if you're single, in the life that God has called you to, for whatever God's called you to. I fully believe that we're each called for a unique individual purpose. And when we are aligned to that calling, to that unique individual purpose, when we're aligned with God's will for us, I believe that we will thrive in that calling. But if you're like us and you get busy with the day-to-day stuff, whether it's household chores or ranch chores, farming chores, like I said, with a family, sometimes we can just feel really distracted. So I do want to say here, this message that in this next hour that I get to have with you today, this presentation is a little bit less for your farm and your ranch, and it's more for the farmer, and it's more for the rancher. And it's for every single one of you. I get to see all your names and I get to see some of your faces, but it is for each one of you as a person. Because Joshua and I truly believe that we, as stewards of the land, can put so much time and energy and love and care into the land and into our livestock, into the fields, but we don't always put that same level into our own lives. And so that's really what this is going to be talking about today, is how you can find out what's holding you back, and then I'll give you some tips and tools and strategies so that you can have the breakthroughs that maybe you're looking for personally or professionally. Sound good? All right, awesome. Okay, so I did introduce myself already, but I forgot to mention. So Josh and I have three kids. They are our three miracle children, and we technically homeschool, but we don't use that word. We call it life learning because essentially we do life with our kids on this ranch next to Joshua's parents, my in-laws. So we have a triple generation operation here at Seek First Ranch. And I am also, Joshua and I are both certified through Holistic Management International, and I am certified through the John Maxwell Leadership Team. And so, again, for us to build the resiliency and the things for our own family, we want to be able to pay that forward by if something resonated with us and was a good tool for us, and we want to be able to share that with others. Now, ultimately, I just see so many people in general, but this definitely applies to the farmers, ranchers, egg producers in our circle that we're experiencing burnout, overwhelm. Raise your hand or give me a nod if you can relate to this now or at any point in the recent past, we'll say. Decision-making fatigue. Think about all the decisions that you make. I read somewhere, this was years ago now, but somebody correct me if this is wrong in the chat, but is it something like the average adult makes 35,000 decisions every day? And I tend to think that farmers and ranchers might even make more. If you think about all the decisions that you make, consciously or not, right? So we've got decision-making fatigue. I call this the it'll get better when syndrome. Like, oh, after this season is over, things will slow down. After this harvest is over, after we deliver the beef here, after this sports season or whatever that is, if you can relate to that, if you have that syndrome like we tend to fall into sometimes, that it'll get better when, things will slow down when. And those, dear friends, are the lies we keep telling ourselves, right? If we're being honest. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I really want, and I believe again, I'm going to say it again. I believe that we were each designed for a God-given purpose. And when we are aligned to that purpose, we thrive within our calling. I'm seeing too many people just in survival mode. And this is my call to action, friends. I want you all to thrive. And I want you to have the tools and the resources to help you to be able to do that. All right. So who's with me? You're all with me. Awesome. Okay. So I've told you some about me, but I'd like to hear from you. So in the chat, I'm going to ask you three questions. So if everybody, and if you're watching this recording later, you can still participate because I think it's helpful to write these things out and actually see them in writing. But I'm going to ask you three questions and I'll give you some time to put this in the chat. These are the same three questions that Joshua and I start our Regenerate Retreat circles with. And it is because it helps reduce barriers and kind of let people put some walls down so they can truly get the breakthroughs that they are looking for, that they're really wanting, whether they're consciously aware of those breakthroughs or not, in the fastest way as humanly possible. So here are the three questions that we start our circles with, and it is number one, who are you? So in the chat, you can label this number one if you'd be willing. Who are you? Now I can see your names. I've got Catherine and Toby and Mike and Eric and Tracy's iPhone. Lynn, Bill, wonderful. And I can't see all of you because I can only see like a small portion. But if you tell me who you are in the chat, but I want to know more than your name. I want to know, are you a farmer? Are you a rancher? Are you a husband, a wife, a son, a daughter? How do you see yourself? And I'm going to open up the chat too so that I can see. Awesome. All right. So number one, who are you? A son of God, a husband, a father, a rancher, accountant that works with farms and ranches, child of God, mother. Yes. Leader in egg, a believer, daughter of the king. Oh, wonderful. I'm so honored to be in the room with all of you. This is such a blessing for me. So thank you again. Okay, awesome. As you have those coming in. So number one is who are you? Number two, I want to know why you're here. Why are you here? Oh, Josh's friend. Hi, Joe. All right, why are you here? So number two is why are you here? And I'm going to be a little bit more specific with our time together today. If there's a breakthrough that you are really wanting and you feel comfortable sharing, I mean, this is a public forum, so I know some of the things for you are just too private to mention publicly, and I respect that. But if you would reflect on number two, why are you here, or what breakthrough, personally or professionally, would you like? I'm here because iron sharpens iron. When am I share the link? Awesome. Oh, you're so okay. Why am I to serve the regenerative agricultural community? Yes, absolutely. Yes. All right. So the reason I'm asking this question is because I think if we take the time to ask ourselves, this kind of question, what is it that we really want? Or what is my life lacking? Or maybe what's holding me back? Or what breakthrough do I need? Again, personally or professionally. Being willing to voice that out loud takes a lot of courage. So I appreciate this. All right, a Zoom user says to quit my day job and farm full time. Awesome. All right. So as these answers are coming in, and I appreciate you saying it, the third and final question is I want to know how you feel. And raw honesty is welcome here. So some kind of feeling word. Do you feel excited? Do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel hopeful? Do you feel burdened? Maybe some of you on here are grieving something. Maybe it's a loss of a person or an idea, maybe a job. So if you're grieving something, you're free to say that too. But so number three is how do you feel? Beautiful. And as these are rolling in, because again, I know your time is precious, I'm going to move forward and I would love to share with you the breakthrough equation that Joshua and I use on a daily basis. Is that all right with you if I show you this equation? Okay. So before I say this, I need to just mention this. I said to Jared earlier, like this is a full circle moment for Joshua and I. We met Tyler Watson on one of Jared's events years ago. That was our first exposure to Tyler Watson. And and I'm just going to hold up his book. So if you're not sure who Tyler Watson is, he is the author of The Alignment Effect, and this is his book. He's got a whole like website and trainings and everything, but he spoke at one of Jared's events like this, and we actually showed that replay. So Jared, your videos go far and wide. We shared that replay when we were doing a regenerate retreat we were in Wyoming, and it was just such good conversation. Now, I know not everybody is going to be ready for this, all right? And that's okay. If this seems weird to you, that's okay. That it is okay. But what I'm asking for is an open mind, because I will tell you right now, we've been following some of these techniques that we've learned from our now coach. So we now have Tyler Watson as a coach. I'm receiving a training through him to be certified in this cellular alignment technique. Just in the last few weeks, Joshua and we've been dealing with something in our area. I can't go into specifics, but we've been dealing with something in our area where essentially there was land damage done to some of our rented pasture by a big company. I don't know if you guys have a lot of green energy things moving into your area, but that's something that we as landowners here in North Dakota are navigating. And there's definitely been some heartache and some challenges that come along with that. And I will just say this, we're in the process of a negotiation thing with them where it's us little landowners against these big corporations with their big legal teams. And as we have been doing some of this aligning, it's made such a difference in our stress level. Um, it's made such a difference for us financially. To be honest, it made a $30,000 difference. So this is life changing for us. So this technique that I'm about to show you, we'll get to that in a minute, but this has been life changing for us personally, professionally. It has helped give us clarity, the breakthroughs that we need. Okay, and I'm not going to go any further. I'm just going to show you what the equation is now. So I've got my whiteboard. Now, this is where you're going to need to take notes. I'm not going to have the time to like write all the words out, so I'm just going to do initials. But if you follow me here, you can write out the actual words for the equation. All right. So thank you again I still have my chat up. So thank you to those of you who are still putting in the chat what kind of breakthrough you want or what it is you are hoping for. Maybe it's a financial breakthrough, a personal breakthrough, health, wealth, relationships, anything in that realm. But whatever it is you want, and again, I learned this originally. This is Tyler Watson's Unstoppable Equation. I'm modifying it just a little bit because that's what I do. Like I can't follow an exact recipe to save my life. I've got to substitute something for something else. All right. So I'm just going to put a star here. And again, you can write this out. So this represents whatever it is you want. Okay. Now, in a totally different context, maybe this is somebody who's on a health journey and wants to lose weight or wants to eat cleaner food choices. Okay. This could be, I want to, someone else had put it in the chat, I want to be able to quit my off-farm job and work full time and get all my income from the farm or the ranch. Awesome. So whatever this is, that's just what this star represents. Okay. All right. So then we've got this math equation. All right, math folks. Now I'm going to stop right here. Like Joshua is the math guy. I am a former middle school language arts teacher. All right. So the fact that I'm doing like an equation in front of you would make my former math teachers and my coworkers on either side of me teaching math very proud here. All right. So just work with me here. All right. So this is the thing that you want. And if there's something that you want, regardless of what it is, here is where we typically put all of our time and energy. All right. We have the knowledge to be able to do it. I'm writing upside down if you didn't notice. All right. The knowledge to be able to do it. And we have the skills to be able to do it. We put in the time. That's what we do a lot as farmers and ranchers. We put in the time, and we put in the energy. We put in the energy. And we put in, I'm running out of room, so I'm going to stick this up here, and we rely on willpower. All right, now I'm going to give you some examples. So let's say that I want to improve my stocking rate or my grazing plan. All right, well, I've got the knowledge, or I can increase my knowledge, right? I have the skills, the tools to be able to do that. Okay, I've got the knowledge, I've got the skill, or I can increase my skill. I can put in the time, I can put in the energy. And even if I'm not feeling it, I can rely on some kind of willpower, right? So this is maybe internal willpower, like I just pull myself up by the bootstraps and just keep going even when I don't feel like it or even when it's tough. It can also be artificial willpower, like another cup of coffee, all right, or another whatever energy drink. Okay, now I'm going to move this over because I did not give myself enough room. All right, so if you can think about what it is that you want, you already know how to get, you already have the knowledge or you know how to get more knowledge, right? You probably already have the skill or you know who you could contact or what you could read or what you could watch to get more of the skill. And again, what do we do in the agricultural realm? We just put in more time, yes, and energy, and we rely on willpower. All right, so it's the same thing that I had before. I just rewrote it because I was out of room here. Now, we can put in 100% of the effort. Let's just say best case scenario. Best case scenario, we can put in 100%, right? So for those of you who are thinking of something that you really, really, really want, if you are putting in 100% here, the question I would ask you is then what is holding you back? What is holding you back from achieving this? So if this is the thing that you want and you don't have it yet, and even though you have access to all of this and you can put in more time, more energy, and you can have yourself another cup of coffee and pull yourself up by the bootstraps, why are you not getting the thing that you want? Or not getting the thing that you want as fast as you want it, right? Why? Okay, so this is what we learned from Tyler Watson. So there's something going on here, and this is where the equation comes in. There's actually something down here that's pulling us down. Okay, and Tyler calls these, and I'll explain what they mean in just a minute, but I'm going to abbreviate again. He calls them allergies and addictions. Allergies and addictions. And this is where the game changer has been for us because we were never accounting for this. So allergies and addictions, if you can think about just in the simple form, when we are under a state of stress or we'll just go with that, a state of stress. So we have the flight, fight, or freeze response, right? So we have the flight or fight or freeze. And I in a nutshell, right? We some kind of stress. Let's say I'm just going to use a totally different example. Let's say that I've got all this clutter around me because I do. I've got all this clutter around me. Well, I already have the skill and the knowledge. I can get the books to get rid of the clutter. Like, I mean, I can read like the decluttering advice from people. I can put in the time and I can put in the energy and I can have another cup of coffee, but why am I not getting it done? Well, it's actually because I've got a flight, fight, or freeze response where I am like it's the pushes or the pulls to that trigger, meaning I am freezing and just decision making fatigue. I'm not going to make that decision. Or I am like, I'll run away from it, flight, or I will freeze, just paralyze and do nothing. So again, Tyler Watson calls these things allergies or addictions. They're the pushes or the pulls that's actually, we're allergic, meaning we are pushing away from whatever it is we say we really want. Or we are addicted to our past habits, past routines. We'll just go back to doing it the way that we always did it. We'll just go back to doing it the way that I saw we'll just say, for example, dad do it or my neighbor does it, right? So we're just addicted to our old habits and routines that are there to protect us because it's known to us and it's comfortable. But this is what's really holding us back. So once we're aware of these allergies and addictions, now I will say these are oftentimes on a very deep-rooted subconscious level. We're not consciously aware of these things. So what I will teach you is how to start to become, if you're willing, how to start to become aware of these things on a conscious level. So how do you become aware of these things on a conscious level so that you can actually do something about it? And then, friends, not just do something about it, but actually thrive in it. So this is all bringing us back to whatever this is that we really, really want. We're thriving in our calling. We can do all the work, but if we're still feeling burnt out, if we're still just not meeting this goal, then we need to take into account, okay, what's our flight, fight, freeze? What are those allergies to the ideal and addictions to the non-ideal past habits that are actually holding us back? So you, friends, can put in whatever numbers you want. Let's say that this number down here, even if it's only a 2 down here, even if it's only a 2, what is 100% divided by 2? And all the people say 50%. Exactly. Great. You're great at math. All right. So we can do all of this at 100%. But if we've got just one allergy and one addiction down here, the best we can ever get is 50%. Friends, that's not good enough for me. Why would we do 100% of the work, not address the allergies and addictions, and only get 50% output? It no longer makes sense to me. But this is actually being quite, this is looking at it from a positive aspect. If I dare say, there are a lot of people, and for specific things, me included, where this isn't just a 2, this is a 10. I've got a lot of allergies or addictions. So then we do the math, and now we can put in 100%. But if I've got 10 allergies and addictions, pushes, pulls on a subconscious level that I'm not even aware of, best I can do, even at putting in all this time and energy and work, best I can do is 10%. And you can obviously plug in any number. Let's say this is a 50. Best you can ever get here is a 2%. All right, so raise your hand if you want something better. If you want to know, okay, how do I become consciously aware of those allergies or addictions? In this profit equation, this is what's holding us back. Absolutely. All right. So here is where I hope that you could take some kind of notes off of what I just gave you here. All right. But now I'm going to share my screen and I have a PowerPoint, like a presentation. And so this should help you where the words are actually written out. All right. So I'm going to share. And if you would all do me a favor, can you all see the screen? It should say 7 A's of transformation. Give me a wave if you can see it.
Yep, we can
You can see it. Awesome. Okay. So the 7 A's of transformation, if you'd like to write these down, you are welcome to. The first thing we do is you create your ideal story. And another way to ask that is, what breakthrough do you want now? So what is it that you, in the words of the Spice Girls, tell me what you want, what you really, really want, and you write out your ideal story. That to me would be, if I might make a suggestion, that would be your first step, is to write out what it is you want. So if your story is you want to be able to leave your off-farm job and go work on your farm or ranch full time, I want you to write out that ideal story. What does that look like for you? Okay. And you can be specific. And what kind of breakthroughs do you want out of that? So once you identify, again, like what is it that you really, really want? And I should pause here for a minute. I don't want to miss this step because I think so many of us, if we're being honest, don't take the time to actually ask ourselves this. And I know succession planning is a huge thing with farmers and ranchers. We don't always ask our spouse or maybe our in-laws or our parents or the generation younger than you, depending on how you are generationally in your operation. We don't always take the time to really ask ourselves or our other team members this question. And it's huge. Oftentimes, I think we just make assumptions or we think we know. But if there's one takeaway that you could take from this today, it's write out what your ideal story is so that you and your team members, your family can have clarity on what direction you're going. All right. And for you, again, for me, we align that to God's will for us because that's part of our faith. I respect other faiths too. So if you align to your belief system, and your own morals, right? Okay, so what breakthrough do you want now? Ideally, what we're doing here is we're really transforming ourselves from, and if I can be honest, see what time, perfect. All right. If I can be honest, I hear from a lot of farmers and ranch friends who speak in terms that sound like a lot of victim mentality. It's I'm a victim of the circumstances, I'm a victim of the market, I'm a victim of the weather, I'm a victim to the schedule and its ever-changing needs. I'm a victim to the ranch, right? And I tend to see this, I will be honest, I tend to see this mentality and this language less within the regenerative ag community. But you know what? The enemy's out there wanting to sabotage us. So we still kind of have this victim mentality if we're not careful about aligning to that victor mentality. And aligning also moves you from feeling forced into doing something like you have no choice into ultimately what it does do is it gives you choice. So I want to really hone in on this piece right now. I truly believe God gives us all free will and we each make our choice. It's our choice whether we consult him in our actions or not. It's our choice whether we are obedient to his calling or not. Every single choice that we make, it is up to us. We were given the gift of free will. All right. But we also accept both the consequences and the benefits of our choices. Okay. So aligning is something that helps us own our choices. All right. So if you can say it with me, essentially when I'm talking about triggers here, I'm referring to the allergies and the addictions, the pushes, pulls, where you have the flight, fight, or freeze response that is keeping you from getting the thing that you want. That's part of your ideal story. All right, so everybody say it with me. I know you're muted, but that's okay. The trigger is the transformation. So I mentioned earlier, if you are a lot of these triggers are on a subconscious awareness, we're not aware of them. But once you become aware of them, you will notice some kind of like feeling. You might feel it in your gut or your stomach or your chest or your head, but you might feel something that feels off. And that's your cue to be like, okay, this is not aligned. Something here is not aligned. And then I need to decide if it's something that I do want to align to or that I want to kick out so that it can better serve you, you can serve other people, and you can live according to your calling. All right. So here are the 7 A's of transformation. The first two we've already talked about, they go hand in hand. It's the allergies. Allergies and addictions are both the trigger that you will learn to start honing in on and feeling. This is where you are pushing away your ideal story or you're pushing away the breakthrough that you say you want. Likewise, you might also be addicted to your current habits or patterns that are working away from or against your non-ideals, that are working, you have addictions to non-ideals. So your addictions are working away from your ideal story, excuse me. So this might look like, and when I work with my coaching clients, they will think that they want something, and it is like they'll identify what it is they want. But once in our coaching sessions, once we peel back the layers, what they want is actually something much bigger and much deeper and has been holding them back the whole time, that they just had no idea the massive level of impact that it was having on them. And once they were able to clear that out, that's when the true transformation happens. That's when you're no longer overwhelmed and burdened by all of your decisions and daily to-do lists, when you really, really, really get that out. All right. So here's what we do. Now, when we talk about, Joshua and I do facilitating on occasion by request. And when we sit down with families and we, as a facilitator, ask them questions, we often find that a lot of things that we talk about as absolutes are very, very abstract, and they hold different meanings to different people. So we could say this: money. We each have our own money story. And your belief about money and whether it's good or bad, or whether, oh, you shouldn't have too much of it, or, oh, we don't want to have too much so we don't pay taxes, or, oh, we don't want to be greedy, or we don't want to flaunt our wealth. We all have a money story. So we need to ask ourselves, in this context of money, is that definition of money really serving us? And are we living authentically in the lives that God has created us to live, if we're telling ourselves this money story that's actually sabotaging our success and our gifts? So I take my clients through a process where we actually alter the definition, where we write all our current definitions out, in this case about money, and the belief system that you hold with money, how you felt maybe guilt or shame regarding money, all those kinds of things. We get it out so that it can be brought to a conscious awareness. And then we actually recreate the story and talk about what money can do. So what can money do for you, right? Money can allow you, it gives you more access to resources. Money gives you more access to tools, gives you more freedom and flexibility. If there is a great business move for you to buy more cattle or not have to sell or to take on more land, it can help you help a neighbor, help a friend, give more gifts, contribute more to your church or charitable organizations. Like, we write out all the things that money can do. So that is the third A of transformation. That's where we alter our definitions to a definition that doesn't align with what we really believe, or maybe doesn't align with some of our other team members or family members have for that definition. And then we align. And this is a process. And I will go through this with my clients, showing us how to do it. But we essentially, to give us that choice back so that we can become a victor over our circumstances and accept the benefits of our choices. We're not just a victim to whatever comes my way and a victim to past habits. Aligning puts us in a state of choice. We are aligning to our ideal story. We're removing the allergies or addiction. So essentially, this is the gift here. You are no longer addicted to the things that are not serving you, and you are no longer allergic to the thing that truly, truly you are being called to walk toward. So it puts you in a state of choice, aligned to your values and to your beliefs, so that you can become victorious. Once we align to that, and it can happen in minutes. And I'm telling you, this is something that can like decades worth of, we can hold on to things for weeks, months, decades, things in our past that are just really, really festering. And this aligning process really only takes minutes. So I think that's the beauty of it, is it really only takes minutes and then it sticks. To get it to stick, then we anchor it in. So 7 A's of transformation, number 5 is we anchor. This is where we actually lock it in on a cellular level. We lock it in on a cellular level that functions like a cruise control. So if I just decide I want to, like, I've got this belief system about money, I've realigned it, I've redefined it, I've aligned to the fact that, I I am, I make excellent business decisions that lead us to X number of, profitability so that I can, we align to that ideal story, which happens in minutes, then we lock that in. And essentially we lock it in with a little bit of a tapping and then it's like cruise control. So the next time I'm living my life and I come across an opportunity or a problem that may trigger me, I can go back to that anchor and it's like pushing a cruise control and I go right back to that aligned state of choice where I don't find these things overwhelming anymore. I have the clarity. All right. And I was going to mention this example earlier, but Joshua and I just recently, we did a full alignment to, and I will read you our statement. This was what we wanted. We manage our businesses, we have multiple enterprises. We manage our businesses from vision and not fear. We have clear targets and boundaries that allow for exponential growth. And for us to do this, and we've anchored it in, we've just in the last week had multiple people reach out to us and say, hey, could you speak at this event? Or, hey, could you be a facilitator for this? And because we've already aligned to this target in this case, whereas in the past we would have been like, oh, we can make that work. Oh, we can make that work. Oh, we can stretch ourselves thin. For us, it clearly we had our boundaries set so that it was like, this does not align with our boundaries. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm going to pass. And then we can go on and we can live clearly with boundaries in the target, following the targets that God is calling us to, and we aren't distracted. So I think so many of us are like distracted by different enterprises that are not serving us. And I know Ranching for Profit teaches that too. It's like the concept of sometimes you can't just trim the branches, you got to cut off the wood. This alignment process will help you determine what branches need to be cut off for you and for your operation for right now. So once we anchor that in, it's like a cruise control. Number 6 is then we act. So we go out and we live our regular lives and we notice when we have some triggers come up. And then number 7, we assess when those triggers do come up. We can hit our anchor or we can go back and we can do some more aligning to whatever the trigger is so that we can get back to that state of choice. Okay, now while I am sharing this screen, I will open it up for questions, but while I'm sharing this screen, I'm gonna check my time again. Oh, we're great on time. I want to invite you because I know the examples that I gave, some of them were either vague or specific or didn't relate to you. And I know that there's some of you in the chat or because you are watching or some of you didn't put it in the chat and maybe that's because it's something too private or personal, or maybe it's because you're watching this as a recording later on. But I want all of you, I'd like to invite you, if you would like to have a private one-on-one session with me so that we can discuss privately, not in this big public forum, not in the chat, the breakthrough that you're looking for. Maybe it's something in regards to health, your personal health or health of a family member, wealth, something with profitability for your ranch, for your family finances or your business, or wealth or your relationships with people. I know some of you have a strained relationship or a difficult relationship, or maybe you don't have conflict in your relationships with your family members, business partners, or team members, but you just need to do some vision planning and you want to make sure that everybody's voice gets heard. As my gift to all of you live and watching the recording, I am opening up my call calendar to you. So it's not actually opened up yet, but I'll show you how to reserve a spot with me if you'd like to have one of my slots. I think right now I only have 15 slots available. I just have 15 slots available and I will keep it open until tomorrow. So that would be Friday, October, tomorrow's the 17th, is that right? Friday, yes. So I will keep my calendar open to webinar participants until Friday at 11 p.m., Friday, October 17th. If you're watching the recording after this, just still reach out to me because I can also make some room for you. But again, we practice what we preach. Like you heard, we homeschool, we life learn with our 3 kids, we ranch full time, and we do this as a business. So I want to open up some of my time for you as my gift for you as being part of this event, but I don't have unlimited time available for this because I have aligned to we manage our business with clarity and with vision and boundaries. So I'm going to hop over. Let me see if I can get here. I'm just going to show you what our website looks like. Again, I welcome you all to seekfirstranch.com. Seekfirstranch.com/win will get you right to the correct spot. But if you just want to hop over to seekfirstranch.com, you'll click on this button right here underneath Win Warriors. And then you will just fill in this information so I know how to get a hold of you. And then it also helps me if you tell me a little bit about what breakthrough you're wanting to look, what breakthrough you're looking forward to having in a wealth, health, or relationship type setting. It can be any or all. All right, so if you just fill that in and you click submit, then I will send you a separate email and I will give you access to my private booking link and you can book a one-on-one hour session with me. Okay, like I said, right now I have 15 open, first come, first serve. And then if I need to open up more according to how my schedule allows. So if you're watching, again, like I said, if you're watching the recording of this and the time has passed, reach out to me anyway, and I'll see what I still have left for you. Okay? Now, Jared, I'd like to open it up for questions. I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Mhm. Yeah, awesome. Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Tara. This is really cool. So, as you mentioned, I've worked with Tyler Watson extensively,
Mhm.
and boy, it was vulnerable when I asked him to come on our on our I think it might have been actually the very first summit that we did. And here I was putting myself out there with a bunch of other farmers and ranchers. And so he's not a rancher, but his techniques absolutely work. And so I'm grateful that you guys were able to embrace them and see them and use them. And
Yeah.
so are you going to give us a sneak peek like what the alignment actually looks like? Because
I can if you want me to. Let me.
just
Yeah.
yeah, I as long as everybody promises that they do it with Tara, because
Yeah.
that's how they get. That's if you're looking for a breakthrough. So, Tara, I love how you explained this. Like in agriculture, we work hard, right? That's
Yeah.
part of our DNA. But if we're not getting the results that we want, we have to look, okay, there's something else that's missing. Then
Yeah.
generally, we'll go to, okay, I need to more education. I need more skills. And so we'll get the skills and then we work hard and then we still don't always get it. And so your formula that you've learned and implemented, that is like looking beneath the surface and saying, okay, here's the rest of the missing links. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because this was our struggle. So Joshua and I too, we do these things and we work really hard. And our backstory, bringing children into our family was incredibly difficult, and there was a lot of grief surrounding it. And when we could bring kids into our life, you read or you listen to all these things about how like kids who grow up to be adults have these past triggers or traumas from how they were raised. And so much of it is like guilt or shame or whatever. And I think Joshua and I just for a long time ago, we were on a mission that we're like, okay, God willing, we are going to raise our kids to be as resilient as possible because we cannot shield them from the world. Like the enemy is out there and things will happen and they'll experience failures, but how can we build resilient kids? And so much of our drive and our motivation was actually because we're modeling things constantly. Like we're every minute of every day, we're communicating through our body language and through our tone and how we model. So we wanted to give our kids the gift of we are not perfect parents. We mess up. But we are on a mission to strive to find these different tools and techniques to help us be profitable and have a profitable business and and have high levels of mental health using positive psychology and align to our faith and all of those kinds of things and I will just say like this out of all the things that we've done, this has been the missing link for us to remove the allergies and the addictions to the past habits and patterns that we've been living for decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've used the analogy a lot that, we know the damage that stress can cause on livestock. Like we
Yeah.
know that when you
Yeah.
wean, it's a stressful event. If we don't take the time to reset them,
Yeah.
like things can go downhill pretty fast. And to me, that's all that we're doing. Like Bud Williams taught us how to do that with livestock and some of the other great
Yeah.
stockmen out there. Tyler taught us how to do it more on a human side. Both are needed, but we think that, especially in ranchers, like, oh, we're just tough. We'll just muscle through. Work harder. Get up earlier. Stay up later.
Yeah.
It's all going to work. And a lot of times it does till it doesn't, right? And we're going
Right.
to.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
it does until yeah, it does until we're burnt out. And I'm so glad you brought up the animals because so this is so I'm certified in the cellular alignment technique through Tyler Watson. I also have certifications, like I said, through John Maxwell and um, Holistic Management International. And it has been such a gift to be able to take all of those things. And it's all about practicing. So it's taking these different concepts and it's practicing them in daily life. And how can I incorporate these different things? And then my children, our children, model things back to us. So we see that we have the gift of knowing, okay, like where we need to tweak. And I want to pause right here because I mentioned guilt and shame. So many of us struggle, and my heart, I have a heart for women. Um, so I know that there's women on here, and I'm not saying that men don't struggle with this because they do, but even more so, the guilt and the shame and the regret and those voices that we hear in our heads, I truly believe those are coming from the enemy with the ultimate if the enemy can distract us with guilt and shame and keep us frozen and keep us stuck and addicted to past habits that just haven't served us, what more? I mean, that's exactly what he wants, is for us to be stuck and to not live out our calling. So if we're not living out our calling because we're experiencing guilt or shame, if that's you, please book a session with me. That is exactly what we will work through, because guilt and shame has no place. That's the enemy distracting us. That's my firm belief. And in the people that I've helped, just watching that just wash out of them and just get out, and the freedom that they feel once they can let that go is just tremendous. And so this is kingdom work. I believe we're all stewarding creation. We're doing kingdom work. We just do it. It looks differently for each of us. But this is my calling and my gift, is to help people break free of the strongholds and to live in God's design for you. So, but coming back to the animals, Jared, the animals, yes, they perceive this too. So when we are aligned, we show up differently. We show up differently for our family, for our spouse, for the animals, for the horse we're riding, for the cattle we're working, right? And if even if you're not, stewarding livestock, just the um sort of the birds and the deer and just the animal population around us. I mean, all of creation responds. So yes, Jared, I will show you how to align. So essentially what happens is when you have a trigger, that flight, fight, freeze response, and you want to break through it, again, we go through the 7 steps of transformation. So I'd have people kind of like align to what it is they want or don't want. And once you have a statement, I'm just going to use this one because I hope this speaks to somebody out there is living it like, just I have shame or I have guilt, and you might not even be consciously aware of it. It might be on a subconscious level. So I'm just going to use this as an example. So if you're struggling with some kind of like guilt or shame or regret, you can tune into where you feel it, and you can do this at home. So maybe for you, it's not guilt or shame or regret. Maybe it's something different, but just whatever you're feeling that's been holding you back, I want you to just tune into that feeling. And if there's a spot on your body where you can feel it, then you can tap in that spot. And if you're not there yet where you don't really recognize like where you feel it, you can tap like kind of on your chest or your head. You can't do it wrong. Here's the beauty of this. You cannot mess it up. We do this with our kids. We do this if they're feeling nervous before a sports event. If they had like an issue, with some teammates where just things didn't go well and they're kind of wrestling through it, like you can use this on anything, but you tune into where you're feeling it. And I would have people give it a baseline. So we rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. So like how strong is it? So whatever it is that you're feeling on a scale of 1 to 10, just write down on a sheet of paper, like how strong is that? And then we will give some statements. Now, I want to be very clear. These statements are not affirmations in the fact that we're not, I'm going to say a statement and your body is instantly on a cellular level. So this is your cells in your body. All of our cells are communicating. So the cells in your body are either going to reject the statement or accept it. And we're giving it energy by saying it out loud. And I'm going to say some things that, again, they're not affirmations. You're going to either accept it or reject it. Okay, so you might say something like, again, this is just an example, but you might say, we're going to go deep here. Um, I if this is a struggle for you, I'm going to speak to the non ideals first because this is the voice that you're hearing on a conscious or subconscious level. I am unworthy. And then you would repeat after me. I am unworthy. I will never figure out what my purpose is. I don't think God even gave me a purpose. I think that he gave everyone else a purpose but didn't give me a purpose. I have no purpose. And I'll never figure out what it is. Okay. Now, every cell in my body is rejecting that because I know that I know that I know that that's not true. But the truth is, that's the lie that some of you are believing or some of your loved ones are believing. Okay. So once we do that, then we pause there after we've said a couple of phrases. And then here we go. What you do is it's a series of tapping and breathing. So you're going to tap on yourself. You can tap on basically from your hairline down your head and just to the base of your neck, your C7. So just where your collar hits your shirt collar level. Okay. So here's the series. So you're going to tap with a deep breath in and then with a deep breath out. And we do that 3 times. Deep breath in, deep breath out, and then a third time. Deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then what we're going to do is you're actually going to now trigger a flight fight response. You know you're safe, but we're going to kind of simulate like, oh, I'm being chased by a bear. Okay. So you're going to breathe in and out really quickly. You don't need to make noise when you do it, but I do when I'm coaching my clients over Zoom because then it kind of simulates what you're doing. So tapping 3 times, breathing in and out quickly, like panting. So, and you look ridiculous and that's fine. A second time, third time, and then you smile afterwards, even if you have to fake it, because there's neurotransmitters happening everywhere. That sends a signal to your body that I'm safe and I'm okay. Okay. Now I know you're not going to get the exact same effect on here because while you're learning a new skill, it's not going to actually like if you're like, well, I didn't feel any different, that you probably won't right now because this is just kind of practice. But we'll do one more round just to kind of take it to the next level. So let's just say again, your thing is like that surrounded by guilt or shame
Okay,
or
but you
regret.
guys have got to do this with us. And I mean, if you want
Yeah.
more points, you got to turn your cameras on here. So one of the ways that you can tell if this is working, I don't know, you probably aren't watching me, but it is working because you yawn. It's an emotional release. It's just like a horse licking its lips. So even though what you were saying and I was doing it with you, the shame and the guilt and things like that, I
Yeah.
played along and I noticed that I was starting to yawn. So
Yeah.
everybody else, bonus points if you turn your cameras on. If not,
Yeah.
Larry, we
A
expect
lot of
just don't worry, Larry. Everybody's gonna be
yeah.
watching these.
Yeah. Some people do yawn. That's your body like releasing, getting stuff out. Some people will sweat. Some people will have so if you don't a lot of people do. I don't though. I have different I think Joshua does too. But your body's kind of working stuff out. Essentially, you are aligning your cells to reject your non-ideals and to accept the ideals that are aligned with your ideal story, of course, which always aligns to your own morals and ethical beliefs. Okay. So let's just tune into that again. So I tune into it. Okay. I'm tuning into that guilt or shame. Maybe it's still here. Maybe it's moved and I'm feeling it here, but wherever it is, you can tap on that area and I'll give you some more statements. Again, these are not affirmations. This is just your body will reject or accept what I'm saying. God didn't make a mistake when he created me. And then you would repeat that back so that you're vocalizing it. It has to come up through words. Uh, God did design me for a purpose. God will reveal his purpose to me. And if that's more like if you're struggling with finding your purpose, if you are aligning to guilt or shame, you could say, I will not believe the lies of the enemy. I am free of guilt and shame. God is calling me to live a life in alignment with his will for me. You say the phrases, and then once you've done that, then again you would align. So we'll practice that one more time. So it's a deep breath in, tapping from the kind of forehead all the way to the base of your neck. Deep breath out. And you can go at your own pace. Deep breath in. You can go faster or slower. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And then you pant three series. So it quick in and out. And you don't have to make noise. I'm just doing it so you know that's how I'm breathing. Pant in and out. The third time. Yep, this is triggering a flight or fight response in your neurotransmitters. And then you smile, and that tells your brain that you're safe, even if you have to fake it. Okay, and so you just go through that repetition, and essentially you keep coming up with, you keep having phrases, and then you continue to rate yourself kind of throughout the process. And the goal is if you are at a level 0 or 1, your goal is to get up to a 10.
10
I
being
know that 10 being positive. Now, I know you can also do it to where if you're aligning against something that you don't want, you can also go 10 down to a 1. But essentially it doesn't really matter the numbers. What matters is that you're feeling it, you're having a cellular alignment to where wherever you're here, you want to get to here. And then
Yeah.
you anchor that in, you find where you feel it on your body and you anchor it in. And then that's essentially like your cruise control. So the next time I hear that voice like of shame, or I'm like, oh, I don't know my purpose, or oh, I've got a thing, a negative definition of money, you can go back to that anchor point and it's like you're there. So this is how sometimes, like if you watch people like Bud Williams, or I mean other people who you follow, that you just are like, wow, they just have that unique gift, and I will never have that gift. I don't know how they do it. Well, you can align to that belief, and I mean you can have that gift, or you can reveal God to show, I mean ask God to show you what gift you do have. It just might look different, right? So that was like, again, that was just like a quick rundown of kind of
Love
what the
it.
process looks like. But this is where, if you would like to book a one-on-one session with me, I'll actually walk you through your own session so that so it's meaningful for you, and then you're also in a private, it's just you and me, it's private.
You don't have 100 other people laughing at you when you're tapping and
Yeah.
panting all
Yeah,
of a
it's
sudden.
okay that it looks like, it's okay that it looks ridiculous. I'm willing to do ridiculous things because I just told you guys, I mean, again, I can't give all the details, but this just made a $30,000 difference for us with one
Yeah.
phone call. We aligned to not being tied to the outcome and letting go of the stress of what this has kind of put on us and our whole community here in our local area. And all of a sudden they were just like, you know what? That really wasn't fair to you. We're gonna up it by this much. We're gonna up it by this much. We're gonna up it by and we didn't even ask them to up the compensation claim. We didn't ask them to up it. We thought that we are going to have to go to court and maybe get a little bit and whatever. And it just, that's just one example of the difference that it can make personally and professionally.
Well, Tara, thank you so very much for joining.
Yes.
This, it seems like, well, how does this relate to profitability and regeneration? But it absolutely does, you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe if your mind is open to it and you say, okay, if I don't have what I want, whether that be from a soil health side, from a profitability side, from relationships, then it's gonna be something here in this formula that she presented. So Tara, awesome. Good job. We appreciate you. I shared the link in the chat to be able
Yes.
to go and book a time on her calendar. I can tell that she knows her stuff. She has the gift and the talent. And appreciate the name of your ranch, Seek First Ranch. I think I know where that comes from, but You want to tell us real quick that?
Yes, absolutely. So for us, it's Matthew 6:33, seek first the kingdom. For us, it was seeking first his will for our lives and not ours, because I wanted things done my way and in my time. So it was learning how to surrender to that, which was just, that was such a beautiful transition that God led us through to surrender toward that. That's the first reason. The second reason is because we believe in the power of asking really powerful questions. And that is
Love
why,
it.
again, we practice what we preach. We hire our own coaches, even though I am a coach, because we need coaches in our lives to help ask the right questions. So we get that for ourselves. We hire a coach and then we provide that service for others so that we can give them that same gift.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Tara, and may you be blessed and prospered. Really appreciate you taking time and dedicating that to speaking to this group.
Yes, absolutely.